YouTube, how we doing? Today we're going to be heading into another 7-round mock draft. Today is going to be the Buffalo Bills Mafia. Let me see where you're at in the comment section below. I want to hear it. This is a crazy draft because the Bills really don't have many holes in this team. They are a contender as of this moment, and they can only bolster their lineup with multiple picks. They have a lot of picks in this draft compared to some other teams here, so can definitely do a lot to help out this roster even more and make this an even better team than it already is. So if you guys do enjoy this video and you're a Bills fan, please be sure to leave a like down below. Helps out a ton. And if you guys do want to consider subscribe, it really does help me out a ton as well. We're on the road to 1K. Helps out a bunch. But without further ado, let's get right into this. With the first pick for the Buffalo Bills at pick number 25, we're going to be selecting Andrew Booth Jr., the corner out of Clemson, one of the better cover corners in this draft. Really, after Sauce and Stingley go, there's a mix-up between, Elam and Booth and McDuffie, McCreary, and there's a bunch of corners that are all kind of grouped up into the same tier, and Booth, I think, is one of the better ones in that group. Probably right behind McDuffie, I'd say, is where I'd put him. You're looking at a DB rotation that is already solid, and you're adding to it. With Trey White's injury last year, it definitely hurt the team. Not as bad as it could have, but it definitely hurt. So getting a guy like Andrew Booth Jr. to be that number 2 and become that running mate to Trey White, as well as have that depth at corner already, it's looking like an absolute monster pick there for the Buffalo Bills. Here at pick number 57, we're going to be selecting Isaiah Spiller, running back out of Texas A&M. I thought about going Breece Hall round 1, but running backs in round 1, everyone's got a kind of opinion about them. And although I think Breece Hall is going to be a superstar, getting that corner I think is just a little bit bigger of a need. And with Isaiah Spiller, the reason I like this pick is because with Breece Hall, he'd kind of be that lead back, that number 1 back no matter what. And it would kind of phase out Singletary and Moss and who did they just pick up as well? Duke Johnson. Kind of phase them out. With Spiller's going to be that lead back, that RB1, but he's going to be in this committee, because Walker and Hall are both off the board. You're getting Isaiah Spiller, who he was looked at as the best running back early on in the draft process. But now Spiller can lead the committee, and you still get Singletary and Moss and Duke Johnson out there to get some snaps as well. But Spiller will be that number 1 running back as well. So you finally have a guy who is dominant in the run game and teams are going to have to scheme up for, but you still are going to be able to rotate in and out guys that are going to keep fresh legs out there, and you still have the talent of those guys. And Singletary looked really good towards the end of the last year as well. So having him be that RB2 in this committee, I think would be perfect for a team like Buffalo to just make this offense even more dynamic than it already is. At pick number 89, we're going to be selecting Myjai Sanders, edge rusher out of Cincinnati. Now, teams like Buffalo are extremely lucky to be in a position to do this. They're taking the best player available. Sanders was a pretty high second-round grade early on and has kind of been slipping on boards just due to the fact that edge is such a deep class for edge rushers. There's so many good edge rushers in this class that taking them high is not needed. But you have Myjai, who's one of the better ones in this stacked class, and you're going to have him learn and rotate in and out with Von Miller. I mean, that's going to be awesome. You're going to get another dominant edge rusher on the edge. You're going to have already Von Miller, who's coming in and creating havoc. Now you have 2 guys that are dominant, plus you have Russo, plus you have Epinesa. I mean, this is going to be a fun time to be a Buffalo fan, watching the opposing offenses try to scheme around all the edge rushers that are coming at them. This rotation is going to be solid. Sanders is going to do a lot there in Buffalo. I really do like this pick a lot. I think he's going to learn a lot from Vaughn, and he's also going to just wreak havoc alongside him as well. Sorry to interrupt the video, but I just want to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy really quick. The NFL season's over, but you could still draft a new fantasy team on Underdog Fantasy and win cash prizes. They have a slick mobile app and a user-friendly site. You can also join a league and draft a team in minutes. Plus, the folks at Underdog are helping you guys out that are watching the video by matching up to $100 on your first deposit for new users when you use code SORMANI, SORMANI. So just go to UnderdogFantasy.com or go download the App Store or the Google Play Store. Sign up with the code SORMANI, that's SORMANI, and Underdog is going to match your first deposit all the way up into $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SORMANI, SORMANI. Now let's get back to this video. Now at pick 130, we're going to be selecting Tyrese Robinson, interior offensive lineman out of Oklahoma. Saffold is not a young guard by any means. Although he's a good pickup this year, he's probably going to be here for 1 year, and that's probably going to be it. And Robinson's the perfect candidate to be quality depth for the time being and hopefully progress to a starting caliber beyond this 2022-2023 season for Buffalo. Josh Allen's got to be able to stay in the pocket. You know, he's got to collapse a lot, and thank gosh he has the ability to extend plays and get out of the pocket, but he should be able to stay in there. And a guy like Tyrese Robinson is going to help out a ton as good depth piece in case injury happens. But of course, like I said, learning and developing this first year to hopefully take over for Saffold going into the 2023 season. Now at pick 168, we're going to be selecting Tori out of Nebraska, wide receiver. You look at it, it's pretty simple. Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, they're both gone. And although the emergence of Gabe Davis is huge, those targets have to go somewhere. And in steps Tori because he's one of the most productive college receivers to come out, and he works perfectly from the slot. So you're able to get a guy later in this draft who, you know, can work with guys. You know, McKenzie's still there as well, but you're going to be able to get him to get some work in the slot with Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs being that 1-2 punch, Tori in the interior on the slot, rotating guys in and out. It's going to create a much more dynamic offense. It's going to create more abilities for you, and a guy who might surprise you is a lot better than what his draft stock is staying. So I really like Tori out of Nebraska. He also came from Montana as well, as you see him in the Montana jersey here. He's going to make that jump from FCS to FBS and then to the NFL, which is going to be crazy. He's dominated all this competition everywhere he's been. We have pick 185 here, Isaiah Pola-Mao out of USC, the safety. Similar to what we said about Robinson, Hyde and Poyer aren't getting any younger, and beyond their current contracts, who knows if they're going to be staying in Buffalo. They might be casualties of the cap. And having a safety like Pola-Mao who really can play both safety positions is going to help out a ton, depending on which guys stay, which guys go. You know, even if they both stay, you're going to have one of the better depth pieces and special teamers, you know, to be backing them up. But you're also going to have a guy who possesses that ability to develop as a free safety, develop as a strong safety. Whatever you want him to do or need him to do, he's going to be able to do that and progress for those positions. So really like this selection here. I think it can do a lot for this team in the future and currently in the now on special teams and depth purposes as well. Now at pick 203, we're going to be selecting Darien Butler, linebacker out of Arizona State. Now that we're late in the draft, you're really looking for special teamers with the upside to get on the field elsewhere, and Darien Butler is that to a T. He really can be a rotational linebacker as he's got instincts with shooting the gap, and he's some of the better traits in the class with shooting the gap and using those instincts as well. But still, on special teams, you're going to get yourself an athletic tackler. He's going to be a gunner for kickoffs. He's going to make plays around the field, and you hope that he can also rotate in and out at linebacker throughout his career. But Darien Butler is going to be a very solid pickup there. Again, once you get late in the draft, you're looking for great special teamers that can progress into a bigger role. That's exactly what Darien Butler can do. Last but not least, at 231, we're going to be selecting Bailey Zappi, the Western Kentucky quarterback, who we all know broke Burrow's record for touchdowns in a season. He was extremely productive, but most of that came from the lack of defensive talent opposing him. Still, you're looking at a guy who is going to be a good quarterback no matter what for the fact that he did what he did. You know, you can't discredit him too much for breaking a record. You know, he broke a record. So putting him in the NFL, no, I don't think he's going to be a starting quarterback or anything, but he definitely can be a very serviceable backup and one of the better backups for a long time in this league. We've seen guys all around the league, you know, a lot of them had better draft capital as well, but have just stuck around in the league for such a long time. You know, Taylor Heineke's been getting starting gigs, Case Keenum, Colt McCoy, all these guys have been in the league for such a long time, staying as backups just because they can get in there and they won't lose you a game. And I think that's what Bailey Zappi is going to be. He's going to compete for that backup role, maybe even be on the practice squad for a little bit, but he's never going to lose you the game. He's going to just be a very serviceable backup, and that's what you're looking for this late in the draft. So for Buffalo, this is the results of the draft as you see all the new Buffalo Bills on the screen. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to leave it a like. If you didn't, just refresh the page and let me know what you think about it the second time. Because without further ado, that's going to be it from me. I'll see you guys in the next one.
How you talking 50K? How you talking making plays or just talking? Yeah. I do this shit on my own time. Time is money, so I did it on my own dime. Word to Bookie, yeah, that's homage. Gave me game. Yeah, he taught me family ties. Quick to back there, above me. Nah, I can't wait for you.